Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really digging into Thailand, the land of smiles.
That's the one.
We've pulled together quite a mix for you. Travel blogs, official embassy stuff, etiquette guides, the works.
The idea is to give you the essentials, really. Everything you need for a trip that's smooth, enjoyable.
And maybe avoids any awkward moments. We want to arm you with practical tips, cultural insights.
And maybe point you towards some amazing pad thai while we're at it. Think of it as your prep kit for Thailand.
Exactly. So let's jump straight in. Thai culture and etiquette. It's known as the land of smiles, and people are incredibly warm.
They really are.
Yeah.
But, and this is important, that friendliness exists alongside some very deep-rooted traditions and social rules.
Right. Taking them just for granted isn't the best approach. Understanding them makes a huge difference.
It really does. And probably the biggest area to be aware of is the respect for the monarchy.
Okay. This isn't just like polite deference, is it?
No, not at all. It's actually woven into the legal system. Criticizing the royal family that's called lèse majesté is a serious crime. You'll see portraits of the king everywhere.
And there's even a special royal language, right? Radasap.
Yes, used when speaking about them. It shows the level of respect. And those lèse majesté laws, they're not messing around.
No kidding. Penalties can be severe, up to 15 years in prison. Per offense.
Exactly. And that applies to visitors too, not just Thais. So it's something you absolutely need to be mindful of. Even seemingly small comments. Best avoided.
Utmost care needed there, definitely. And there are public protocols too, like in cinemas.
Ah, yes. Before the movie, they play the King's Anthem. Everyone stands. You should too, respectfully.
And the national anthem, I hear that plays in public places.
Often twice a day in many towns, yeah. And the custom is just to stop what you're doing, stand still until it finishes. It's a sign of respect.
Wow. And this respect even extends to money, because the king's head is on it.
Precisely. You should never, ever step on coins or banknotes. It's considered really disrespectful. A small thing, but shows you understand.
Okay, shifting gears slightly, but just as important. Religion. Buddhism is central to Thai life.
Absolutely fundamental. So when you visit temples, Buddhist sites, dress code matters.
Right. Long trousers or knee-length skirts, covered shoulders.
Yep. And always, always take your shoes off before going inside a temple building.
And what about Buddha images? I've heard they're all considered sacred.
Every single one. Doesn't matter if it's old, new, big, small. So, don't use them as a backdrop for goofy photos. Definitely don't climb on them.
Makes sense. And you actually need a license to take one out of the country.
That's right. It's to prevent improper use or disrespect.
What about monks? They have a very high status, don't they?
Immense respect. Second only to the royals. You'll see people giving up their seats for them on buses, trains.
And there's a special way to talk to them, too.
Yeah, specific vocabulary. And for women, there's a key rule. No direct physical contact.
So if you're giving something to a monk,
you place it down for him to pick up, or maybe on a cloth he offers. You don't hand it directly. Nuns, though, the rules are generally different for them.
Good distinction. Okay, let's broaden out to body language, social stuff. Modesty seems key, especially outside beach resorts.
Generally, yes. In temples, government buildings, even just walking around towns, especially rural ones, maybe avoid super short shorts or tiny vests. For women, wearing a bra is pretty standard culturally, particularly outside the main tourist zones.
And beaches. Is the Western bearing it all approach common?
Not really among Thais. You'll often see them swimming in shorts and T-shirts. Topless or nude bathing is a definite no-no, considered offensive.
Okay. And there's this thing about heads and feet.
Yes. Strong cultural belief there stems from Hindu influence, too. The head is sacred, the highest part. The feet are considered unclean, the lowest.
So don't touch people's heads?
Nope. Definitely avoid that unless you know someone very well or have a specific reason. And don't point your feet at people, or especially at religious images.
And when sitting on the floor in temples.
Tuck your legs to the side or behind you. Don't stretch them out, pointing towards the Buddha image. And that feet thing ties into taking shoes off. Indoors, temples, people's homes. It's standard practice. Oh, and don't sit on the front part, the prow or head of a boat with your shoes on. That can cause offense.
Right. And putting feet up on chairs or tables.
Seen as pretty uncouth. Best avoided.
What about hands? Left hand versus right hand?
Traditionally, the left hand is for bathroom hygiene. So the custom is to use the right hand for eating, passing things, shaking hands. But people usually understand. Foreigners might not know. Oh, yeah, they make allowances. But if you can remember, using the right hand is generally better etiquette.
Let's talk about the way, that lovely greeting.
Ah, the way, yes, that prayer-like gesture is used for hello, goodbye, thank you, sorry. Lots of things.
And the way you do it depends on status.
Exactly. Higher hands, deeper bow for someone of higher status or age. As a visitor, a simple way, with hands around chest level, slight nod, is usually fine.
Should you initiate it or wait?
Generally, if someone weighs you, you should return it. But maybe hold off initiating until you get a feel for things. It can get complicated matching the right level.
Interesting point. Public displays of affection, less common between couples than friends.
Yeah, you'll often see same-sex friends holding hands or walking arm in arm. That's totally normal. But overt romantic affection in public is less common than in many Western cultures.
Now, those key Thai concepts, Jayen, cool heart,
Yes, super important. Keeping your cool, avoiding confrontation, not raising your voice, losing your temper is seen very negatively.
and Mai Pen Rai, never mind.
Kind of. It is what it is. No problem.
Yeah.
And acceptance of things you can't change, maybe linked to the Buddhist ideas of karma. It helps keep things relaxed.
And Sunak, fun.
Yes. The idea that life should have an element of fun, enjoyment, even work. That's a great philosophy, actually.
Definitely sounds like it. Okay, names. How do you address people?
Almost always by their first name, but you add Kun before it, like Kun Sanchai or Kun Mali. It's like a universal Mr., Miss, Mrs.
So not family names.
Not usually in everyday chat. Family names are more for formal stuff. They only brought them in officially in 1913 anyway.
Right. And sometimes tourists get called Mr. Paul or something.
Yeah, a kind of anglicized version. You might also hear Phi for someone older, like an older sibling, and Nong for someone younger. But sticking with Kun is safest for visitors.
Thai first names often have nice meanings.
Many do, yeah, often from Sanskrit. Things like boon, porn, Siri. They mean good things like merit, blessing, glory.
But then everyone seems to have a nickname.
Almost everyone. Given shortly after birth, often use way more than the formal name. It started as a way to trick evil spirits, apparently.
And the nicknames can be totally random, like
Yeah.
big for a small person.
Exactly. Or English words like apple or ball, often no obvious connection. Friends might not even know each other's formal first names, let alone surnames.
And surname length can sometimes hint at ancestry.
Generally, yeah. Ethnic Thais often have shorter surnames. Longer, more complex ones can sometimes indicate Chinese heritage due to history and how names were registered back then.
Okay, fascinating stuff on the cultural side. Let's switch to something super practical. Staying connected. SIM cards.
Yes.
Yeah.
Essential for most of us nowadays,
Yeah.
right? Getting a local Thai tourist SIM is usually a really good move.
Why is that? Just avoiding roaming fees.
That's a big part of it, yeah. Roaming can be crazy expensive. But also, reliable internet for maps, translation apps, booking stuff, ride-hailing apps like Grab.
Keeping up with social media, contacting people back home.
Exactly. Makes everything so much easier. Emergency access, too.
So where do you get one? Airport seems obvious.
Airports like Suvarnabhumi in Bangkok or Phuket, Chiang Mai, definitely convenient. You land, you get connected. They're usually open 247. Lots of choices.
Downsides? More expensive.
Can be slightly pricier, yeah. And you might hit a queue. Plus, maybe fewer plan options than in town. You'll need your passport to register it, by the way. That's mandatory everywhere.
Okay. What about outside the airport?
You can go to the actual shops of the main providers, AIS, TrueMove, DTAC. They're in malls. Sometimes convenience stores like 7-Eleven have them too.
Better prices there, maybe?
Often, yes.
Yeah.
And usually a wider range of plans, different data amounts, call packages. You can get more help choosing the right one. Downside is, finding a store and they have opening hours.
And online. Can you buy before you go?
You can, especially with eSIMs now. Providers like Airalo, Holafly, or specific Thailand eSIM sites let you buy online.
eSIMs are just activated with a QR code, right? Super easy.
Pretty much. Scan the code, follow the setup. Very convenient. If you order a physical SIM online, just factor in delivery time. And maybe less in-person help if you hit a snag.
How easy is activation generally?
If you buy it in a store or at the airport, they usually activate it for you right there. Takes minutes.
And if you bought online?
For a physical SIM, pop it in your phone, reboot, it often just works. For an eSIM, scan the code, make sure your settings for mobile data are right. Check roaming is off for your home SIM, maybe.
Okay, the main players are AIS, TrueMove, DTAC. Any difference?
Yeah, some nuances. AIS is often cited for having really fast speeds, great 4G, 5G, especially in cities and popular spots like Phuket, Samui. Also, very good speeds, wide 4G, 5G coverage nationwide, maybe particularly strong in central and eastern areas.
And DTAC.
Generally reliable. Maybe speeds are slightly less top tier than the others sometimes, but often has really good coverage, especially mentioned for the Southern Islands.
So it depends about where you're going.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
But honestly, all three offer good tourist packages and decent coverage in most places you're likely to visit.
Any final tips for using them?
Make sure your phone is unlocked before you leave home. Activate the SIM early in your trip. Keep an eye on your data using the provider's app. Use Wi-Fi when you can to save data. And don't lose the tiny SIM card.
Good point. Okay, let's talk money. Budgeting. This varies hugely, right?
Massively. Depends entirely on your style. Backpacking on a shoestring. Mid-range comfort. Splashing out on luxury. All possible in Thailand.
Accommodation, transport, food, activities, they all add up differently.
Exactly. Let's try and break it down a bit. Flights first. Big variable, obviously.
Yeah, totally depends where you're flying from, when, which airline. But rough ideas. UK to Thailand.
Maybe looking at, say, $500 to $700 round trip-ish. Very rough. Could be around $430 to $650 maybe.
US.
Perhaps $500 to $800. Again, huge range possible.
And Australia. Often cheaper from there.
Yeah, closer. Maybe $200 to $600 depending on the airline and timing. These are just ballpark figures, remember. Book ahead. Be flexible if you can.
Okay, once you're in Thailand, getting around. Taxis. Grab.
Widely available in cities. Metered taxis should start around $1, then maybe 30 cents a kilometer. Always insist on the meter.
And Grab or Bolt, the ride-hailing apps.
Usually a bit more, maybe 20–30% higher.
Yeah.
But you get the price up front, often sees more reliable.
Tuk-tuks, the iconic three-wheelers.
Fun for short hops. But you have to agree on the price before you get in. No meter. Maybe $3 to $8 for a ride. Depends where and how far. Negotiate.
What about public transport in Bangkok? The SkyTrain and subway.
The BTS SkyTrain and NRT subway are great. Efficient, clean, air-conditioned. Fares are cheap, like 50 cents to maybe $1.75 a ride, give or take.
Public buses.
Even cheaper, like 30 cents to $1. Can be confusing, though. And songsaws, those pickup truck things, yeah, you see them in lots of cities outside Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Pattaya. Shared taxis, basically. Fixed routes, usually super cheap, maybe 50 cents to $2.
Okay. Longer distances. Trains.
Good option, especially north or south from Bangkok. Scenic, affordable. Third class is basic, maybe $8, $11 for a long trip. Second class AC is comfy, $15, $20, $22 maybe. First class sleeper, more like $35, $45.
Lexuses and minivans.
Huge network. Probably the most common way to travel between cities. Bangkok to Chiang Mai bus might be $18, $30. Yeah. Bangkok to Phuket, $25, $35. Minivans are faster for shorter routes like Bangkok to Ayutthaya, maybe $5, $17.
And island hopping. Ferries. Boats.
It's essential. Loads of ferries and speedboats. Phuket to Phi Phi ferry, maybe $12, $18. Samui to Koh Phangan, $5, $12. Combined train ferry tickets are available too, like Bangkok to Koh Tao for $25, $35-ish.
We're minting scooters or cars?
Possible. Scooters are cheap, $5, $10 a day. Cars maybe $30, $35 plus fuel. But Thai traffic can be chaotic. You need an international driving permit and be really careful. Left-hand driving, too.
Good warning. Okay, accommodation costs. Huge range again. Budget end.
You can find decent budget hotels, AC, Wi-Fi from maybe $22 a night. Hostels, obviously cheaper.
Moving up, boutique hotels, mid-range.
Boutique places with a pool, maybe breakfast, could be $33, $55. Mid-range resorts, 4-star places starting around $55 maybe.
Beachfront, luxury.
Beachfront bungalows, $90, $140 perhaps. Proper luxury villas with pools, upwards of $140. And then the ultra-luxury places in Phuket, Samui, $220, $440. Sky's the limit, really.
Food. Can you eat cheaply?
Oh, absolutely. Street food is amazing and incredibly cheap. $1, $3 a dish. You can eat well for under $10 a day easily.
Local restaurants, food courts.
It's still very affordable. Meals maybe $3, $10. So maybe $9, $70 a day.
What if you want Western food or fancier places?
International restaurants obviously cost more. $6, $25 a meal maybe. High-end dining, easily $40 plus a day if that's your focus.
Sightseeing and activities, what do things cost?
Lots is free or cheap. Wandering markets, many temples, beaches, hiking, under $3.
Standard tourist sites, Wat Pho, big temples, museums.
Usually in the 5 to 22 tutor range for entry fees. National parks, cooking classes fit in here too.
What about tours? Snorkeling, diving, boat trips?
More involved stuff, yeah. Maybe $27 to $90 for things like snorkeling trips, jungle trekking, kayaking tours to places like Phi or James Bond Island.
And premium stuff, dive courses, elephant sanctuaries.
Those cost more, naturally. $85 and up for things like PETI certification, ethical elephant experiences, private cruises.
So putting it all together, a 10-15 day trip, rough total budget style.
Super rough guess. Maybe $2,200, $2,500 for a budget trip, including international flights.
Mid-range.
Perhaps $2,700, $3,000.
And luxury.
$4,000 plus. Easily. Depends how luxurious.
Any tips for saving money?
Eat local. Street food, food courts. Use public transport or songthus where possible. Book flights and maybe popular accommodation ahead. Hostels or guest houses save a lot. Travel in the low season. May to October, it rains more, but prices drop. Bargain politely in markets for tuk-tuks. Watch out for ATM fees. Use fewer, larger withdrawals, maybe.
Good advice. Now, visas. This is important logistical stuff. Many people don't need one beforehand, right?
That's correct. There's a visa exemption scheme. If you held a passport from a long list of countries, including the US, UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, most of Europe, many others, you can enter for tourism for up to 60 days without getting a visa first.
It's a lot of countries covered.
It is. But the key thing is you must have proof you're leaving within those 60 days.
Like an onward flight ticket.
Exactly. Confirmed ticket out of Thailand. They can, and often do, ask for it at immigration. If you don't have it, you might have problems entering.
So you can't just arrive planning to figure out your exit later.
Not advisable under the visa exemption? No. Get that exit ticket sorted. Also, a small point, if you enter by land or sea under this scheme, specifically Norwegians and Icelanders are limited to 2 such entries per calendar year.
Okay, good details to know. So once you're sorted with visas and arrive in a city, Bangkok transport again, BTS SkyTrain.
Super efficient, covers Sukhumvit, Salem, key areas, runs 6 a.m. to midnight, trains are frequent, fares 16.59 baht, roughly 50 cents to $1.75. Day pass is 150 baht.
And the MRT subway.
Also great. Blue, purple, yellow lines connect different parts of the city. Similar hours, 6 a.m. to midnight. Fares maybe 1643 baht.
Tuk-tuks we covered iconic, negotiate the fare.
Yep, 8150 baht, maybe more in tourist traps.
Taxis and ride-hailing like Grabbolt convenient, use the meter or app price.
Right. Reliable options.
Songfis, shared pickups, budget choice in other cities like Chiang Mai, Pattaya, fixed routes mostly, 1040 baht.
Good summary.
Okay, traveling between cities, buses and minivans.
Very extensive network. Affordable, frequent. Buy tickets at stations, online, sometimes hotels. Stations might be slightly out of town. Minivans are quicker on some routes, like Chiang Mai to Pai. Fares vary by distance, maybe 150, 600 baht for buses, 150, 200 for popular minivan routes.
Trains, scenic but slower.
Often, yeah. Good for long hauls like Bangkok to Chiang Mai, 10, 14 hours, or down south towards the islands, Surat Thani. Different classes available. Fares 250, 1,500 baht depending on class and route. Book ahead, especially for sleepers.
Domestic flights, fastest for long distances.
Definitely. Connects all major hubs. Airlines like AirAsia, Nokair, Vietjet Air, Bangkok Airways, Thai Airways. Book early for better prices. Fares maybe 1,000, 3,500 baht, depends on the route.
And boats ferries for islands.
Yep.
Central, obviously.
Yep. Ferries are comfy, affordable. Speedboats faster, pricier, good for island hopping. Long-tail boats for that traditional feel, accessing small beaches. Fares range hugely, 300, 1,500 baht, depending on distance and service.
How do you choose the best transport for you?
Think about your style. Families might like the space on trains or buses. Couples might grab taxis. Solo travelers can use anything. Groups might hire a minivan. Island adventures need boats.
Best apps to help navigate.
Google Maps is essential. Grab or Bolt for rides. Viabus is good for tracking Bangkok buses sometimes. Lineman is another popular app with transport and food delivery.
Finally, staying safe, avoiding scams while moving around.
Remember left-hand traffic if driving. Get that IDP. Taxis. Insist on the meter. Tuk-tuks. Agree price first. Beware of detours to gem shops or tailors you didn't ask for.
Fake tickets or tours.
Buy from official counters or reputable agencies, not random people on the street.
Pickpockets.
Be aware in crowded places, markets, buses. Keep valuables secure.
Money safety. ATMs.
Use ATMs at banks if possible. Beware of fees. Count your cash when exchanging money. Avoid dodgy street changers with unbelievable rates.
Anything else? Street gambling. Gems.
Just walk away from street gambling setups. They're usually scams. Be extremely skeptical about amazing gem deals offered on the street.
Okay, that's a lot of ground covered.
Phew, yeah. So, quick recap. We've hit Thai culture, the monarchy, religion, body language, names, then getting connected with SIMs, budgeting comprehensively, visa rules, getting around cities, traveling between regions, and safety tips.
The goal really was to give you that solid foundation, that essential knowledge, so your trip to Thailand is just better. Smoother, more informed, and hopefully way more enjoyable.
Absolutely. And it leaves us with maybe one final thing for you to ponder. Thailand is this incredible mix, isn't it? ancient traditions, right alongside modern life.
Yeah, it really is striking.
So, thinking about your own trip, what part of that blend, the old and the new, are you most curious about seeing for yourself? And how might understanding these cultural points we've talked about actually change your experience, make it richer than just, ticking off the sites? Something to think about.